Today I invite you to join me for a special video. Here I stand in front of Northern Nevada Yards in East Ely, Nevada, where today we'll have an opportunity to meet and greet some folks that actually work on the railroad. We'll have a chance to take a close inspection of some equipment that hasn't changed since it was originally put into service, in some cases 100 years ago, and buildings and grounds and processes. We'll get a chance to take a look at some history involving how this railroad came to be and the town it served and the lives it supported. And probably my favorite piece of all this is I get to be an engineer today and drive an engine from 1920s up through the mountain passes and tunnels and whatnot. So I invite you to join me today on a special Austin's American Flyer YouTube Real Steam video. Stick around. I'm standing here in the East Ely, Northern Nevada Yards in front of one of the many pieces of historic rolling stock, and you can see this one's recently got some painting done. In fact, yesterday I saw crew members and volunteers actually working on it. But this is part of a train that gets hauled around, and if you look at the wheels, you can see that it's had recent action, seen recent service, and pretty impressive. I mean, it's cool to be in a freight yard and actually see railheads that are polished from use. Not sure how well this picture conveys how incredibly abused these ore cars are. Their documents talk about how these cars were used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they were beaten and abused by loaders and boulders, and they just got hard, heavy use. And so these cars are constantly having to be repaired, even though they're made to a high degree of strength. They were just beat on, and it took its toll. I'm standing here beside what I believe are two Baldwin diesel electric locomotives here at the Nevada Northern. For those of you who know a little bit about history, this is repeat, but Baldwin was a huge manufacturer of steam locomotives, and they were very successful. They got in very early, so in the 1840s, I believe, is when they started. And I believe the original owner was Matthew Baldwin. And they did very well in building steam locomotives. They made a good engine and had a lot of successful locomotives out on the rails and in service. And yet the Nevada Northern seems to be fans of Alco. Alco was another locomotive builder. They were kind of a combination of several smaller steam locomotive builders that came together. And Alco stands for American Locomotive Company. And so most of the engines here, both steam and diesel, are made by Alco. And so it's interesting that there would be a few Baldwins here on the property when it's pretty much in Alco territory. But one of the things that fascinates me about the Baldwins is look at the size of these driving wheels. Point of reference, I'm approximately 6 feet tall. These driving wheels are easily 36 inches plus. I've just never seen such a tall driving wheel on a diesel locomotive. And I wonder how that worked for Baldwin. You don't hear a lot about Baldwin diesel engines. I don't think they were very successful. I'm guessing it had to do with the fact that they were transitioning from steam to diesel, and so they used some of the principles with making steam engines, which was a lot of uniqueness. And when it came to diesel, take the electromotive diesel manufacturer division, or electromotive division, EMD is what I'm trying to say. They came out with diesel engines where it was plug and play. In other words, if you had one particular part, you could use it on a whole bunch of different engines. And that mentality seemed to be the direction the railroads wanted to go. It certainly was economically feasible to do that, instead of having a ton of different individual parts, which during the steam days there was more of that, plus you had fabrication that happened on site. So anyhow, just kind of interesting that here in Alco territory there are a few Baldwins hiding around the corner. It looks to be like these are out of service, however.